Hey, and welcome to this Money Monday edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. It's not just Money Monday, it's my goodness, it's Thanksgiving. And to kick off the Thanksgiving week, I'm wearing my Thanksgiving cap. I'm joined by my partner, as always, Frank Morano. He's wearing his pilgrim cap. And it's going to be a fine week. It's a short week, but we got it packed up with guests, Frankie. I mean, amazing guests. Talk about political and in the news. Bernie Kerik a little later on.
Yeah, if you turn to any news story today and read about the case of Eddie Gallagher or open up the New York Times, you'll see Bernie Kerik's picture all over the news with his arm right over Eddie Gallagher after he was acquitted in his court-martial. Now, that seems to have played a role in the firing or the resignation of the Secretary of the Navy. Bernie Kerik's going to join us next exclusively. So in just a few minutes, he's got a column that's about to drop on Newsmax.com. But if you want to see what he's going to say in that column, in which he's going to make some major news, just keep watching our show, because we'll have that news exclusively even before it's up on the column.
And then, as we come into today's Money Monday show, Dow is up about 100 or so. We're reaching those all-time highs again, which is good news. People think a phase one deal may be announced before Christmas. Markets like it. We're going to also mix it up today, like we do every day, the only show on television that has a Democrat and a Republican. Mix it up on the topics of the day. Josh Kravitz is going to be here, and Rich Valdez will join us from the Republican side to mix it up. And then Frank in hour two, not Dr. Stephen Moore, partner during Donald Trump's campaign with Larry Kudlow, shaping some of the economic policies that the president has executed. And I saw Dr. Stephen Moore this morning talking about one of his new ideas to roll over capital gains. I'm sure he'll have a whole bunch of other good things to talk to us about.
It's going to be very interesting, that's for sure.
I think we almost had Dr. Stephen Moore once before.
That's right. And his Skype was almost working. So hopefully his Skype is repaired today.
A little bit of a technological breakdown there. Before you go to the Frankly Speaking, how was your weekend?
It was just fine. Busy but good.
Thank you. Yes. Did you get some much-needed rest?
None.
No rest?
I got a good night's sleep on Friday going into Saturday, but I more than made up for it with a full schedule Saturday and Sunday, where on Saturday I visited my friend Brian Silverstein, saw his new baby Bryce.
There you go. Congrats.
Yes,
Let's ring the bell for a new baby. That's always good to hear.
You know what I was annoyed
about?
with, though? He only kept on the first half hour of the best shots of Liquid Lunch, and then he went back to college football after the first half hour. And, I said, oh, no, it's okay, you could change it, but I was hoping he would say, oh, no, it's okay, we'll keep it on in the background. I mean, I made the trip all the way out to New Jersey from Staten Island.
You think they would leave on the best shots just to amuse you?
Yes!
Well, in case you missed it,
a baby gift.
The best shots of Liquid Lunch is on every Saturday at 5 p.m. It's all the best interviews from the week. And this week, very special best of the best show on Thanksgiving Day, regular time, noon to 2. The best of all we've done, or at least what we think the best are, from the beginning of time, May 13th, 2019, when we started the show. So tune in on Thanksgiving. Get the family, gather them around. It's going to be a PG-rated show, but you're going to love it. All the biggest guests, Bill O'Reilly, Tony Dungy, Deirdre Scaramucci, all the great people you booked.
That's right. That's right.
Who else will we have?
Exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think you're going to get to hear Professor Alan Dershowitz talking about the Middle East and a lot of this Trump impeachment stuff. But as some of you are gathering around the television set for your Thanksgiving celebration, some of you may even be gobbling up on turkey, which is precisely what I'm speaking, frankly, about. This week, the president is going to continue this absurd presidential tradition of the White House presidential turkey pardon. Of all the things that presidents do, this is by far the stupidest. Understand, everyone. Do you know who the first president is to pardon a turkey? Who the first president was? John, do you have any idea who the first president was to do it?
I'm going to go with George Washington.
No.
He was the first president.
Not to pardon a turkey. Though.
Oh.
So the first president to do this absurd turkey pardon, no. was George H.W. Bush. This insane tradition that everybody remembers going back years and years and decades only began in 1989 with George H.W. Bush. And sometimes presidents have skipped and not skipped it. But here's my issue with it. First of all, turkey is terrible. It's not really a great food for you. And a pardon is for somebody convicted of a crime. These turkeys did nothing wrong. They have nothing to be pardoned for. What do they do? Cross the road to get to the other side while jaywalking? These turkeys did nothing wrong. They should not call it a pardon. Second, do you think these turkeys go and live a happy, healthy, long life after they get pardoned? No, that's right.
They get slaughtered 2 weeks from now.
Well, no, it's not quite that bad. But these turkeys that are bred for eating are bred so that they can't live as normal birds. They're bred to have artificially large breasts and artificially. I'm serious. I'm not joking.
I didn't know you could breed for this. But
Yes,
I guess
you can.
I don't know.
So they breed
I have
these.
artificially large
Turkeys.
breasts, so maybe I'm a
Unfortunately,
turkey.
so do I. But I'm serious about this. They breed these turkeys and care for these turkeys in a way because that's what the American consumer wants. Not the turkeys that the Pilgrims ate. These turkeys with very large breasts. So they breed these turkeys so that they're so top heavy and so big and so fat that the legs of these turkeys can't hold them. So basically, if they don't die and end up on someone's dinner plate, these turkeys are doomed to a lifetime of pain, suffering, and yes, they will ultimately die. And they've been pumped full of so many antibiotics over the years that maybe the crime they're being pardoned for is a drug crime. And
That's
lastly,
true. They're carriers.
yes,
They're mules.
Lastly, do you know
How
where
do
these
those little legs hold, like those little turkey legs?
Well, they barely do. They barely do.
But don't they breed them to have big legs too? Because
They
some
don't.
people like to eat the big turkey leg, like rip it off.
No. Lastly, and the
drumstick.
last thing I say, you know where these turkeys come from? They come from the National Turkeys Federation. It's a giant special interest group for the people that raise turkeys to be slaughtered. This is basically a commercial for the big turkey industry.
The big turkey.
I hate this. I hate everything about it. This represents everything that I dislike about American politics. It's a giveaway to special interest. It lets people think these turkeys are going to be healthy and healthy.
How nice.
Right. You see these little
this
kids
poor
at the White
turkey's
House.
going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Exactly.
You got pardoned.
This is barbaric.
If you ask me,
this needs to end. This is obscene.
If you ask me, it's just postponing the executioner's song.
The
for
president
the poor things.
has
It's not a pardon.
Exactly.
It's not. It's a postponement.
the
It's a
president-
last-minute call from the governor.
the
But then
president-
the appeal fails. 2 weeks from now, the poor thing is on somebody's table or frozen in a path mark near you.
The president has had no qualms about undoing other White House traditions and starting new ones. Look what he does with the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Look what he does on Twitter. This is one tradition that the president should absolutely just discontinue.
So you're no longer a pilgrim due to the president's continuum of the turkey pod.
No, I have a difficult time even being called pilgrim because I am so disgusted with the attempts to remove John Wayne's name from the Orange County Airport. And so every time I hear the term pilgrim, I think of John Wayne calling someone pilgrim.
Well, I can understand that.
Yeah.
That's good. We also have a little later on the show, Will McLarnon. He's going to be talking about how the biggest part of our population, the baby boomers, are slowly, unfortunately, passing on and leaving behind millions and millions of homes that their millennial grandkids and so forth don't even want, and there's not enough buyers for. And Will was quite insightful the last time he came on about the real estate markets. And, I want to point out that all the time, on Liquid Lunch, when I'm out and about, people kind of come over and say, like, oh, by the way, I watch Liquid Lunch all the time. Did you just say that? Yeah, I watch it all the time. I love hearing about it. Everybody tells me all the zany things we do, like wear turkey hats. But this weekend, I was out and about in our community, Staten Island, went to the Tottenville Pirates football game semifinals. And they won big going to the New York City Championship, playing in Yankee Stadium. So congrats to all the Pirates out there. But so many people, Alcedio, the Riddler, all these guys were coming up to me and telling me how they're watching Liquid Lunch.
Joker.
The Joker.
Penguin.
Yeah, the Penguin. to name a few.
You hang around with a guy named the Riddler?
Well, it's a nickname.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Riddle me this.
Yeah, exactly. So what else is happening?
All right. Well, obviously the impeachment news is big. We're going to break that down with Josh Kravitz and Rich Valdez in just a few minutes.
It's over.
Navy Secretary situation is pretty interesting. They're going to have an interesting take on that. And I'm sure if you've been watching television for any length of time today, you've probably seen at least 20 commercials for Mike Bloomberg's presidential campaign. He has blanketed the TV airwaves. And I live in New York, which is not an early primary state. So this is a nationwide blitz, the likes of which we have never seen. $35 million TV ad buy in order for Mike Bloomberg to prop up his poll numbers. And here's the interesting thing about his candidacy, John, is he's not taking any donations. So what does that mean? That means he's not going to qualify for any debates. So you're going to have a candidate who is going to at least...
Sounds like me
well,
when I ran for office.
You're going to have a candidate...
Terrible idea, sir, might I add.
Yes.
It's a good idea if you want to overspend and come in fourth, like
well,
me.
He's got
So,
$53 billion.
Just to give you a little advice.
The media companies, I'm sure, could use it.
I hear he bought $30 million this week, $30 million next week, $30 the week after.
It's the largest TV ad buy for any primary candidate in history.
It's so over the top. It's like pulling up to the family pickup, the family picnic in the Hummer stretch limo and pulling it right on the field with the radio blasting. It's overkill. It's actually, to me, it's like, you can't just go in and put it all on black and blow you wad. Not that he's putting all in, but it just looks. He's given his own side enough ammunition to say, look at this guy. He thinks he's going to buy it.
Well,
He
that's
can't
exactly
buy his
been the
way
response from Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders.
in. Yeah.
So,
I still say he has to get by the clown's hand to enter the race. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
you
not
gotta,
entertaining any of your short jokes.
You're not.
I find them very offensive.
Really?
Yes.
I think you're much taller than me, Mike.
I think we're about the same height, but it's okay.
He doesn't have the quaff. Oh, toss that in. So earlier, you may remember when Bill de Blasio was in the race, we had him on a milk container. We had him on the 1% milk because he was missing in action. But I think I might have to dust off the old milk container because 120 million pre-spend, and Mayor Mike is at 1% right now. So we may repurpose the 1%.
Well, let's see where he is in a week.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll keep it here. Maybe we'll go to skim. Maybe we'll go to low fat.
Or maybe that'll be Cory Booker's face on there.
Yeah, or maybe we should get the little small, like, milk
Or
chocolate,
Amy
the
Klobuchar's
school-sized one
Right?
for him.
Or Joaquin Castro, or Julian Castro.
Well, we had Gillibrand and de Blasio, and we successfully chased them out of
Maybe
the
Joe
race.
Sestak. Maybe there'll be Joe Sestak up there.
All right, you're watching Liquid Lunch. We're kicking off the Thanksgiving week. We're going to take a quick break and come back after this with Bernard Kerik.
All right, so